Hello there, my Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. This is Melissa with Enchanted Emerald, bringing you your love reading for August 20th through the 27th, 2021. As we get started here, of course, I use the traditional Rider-Waite deck. That's my go-to deck. Stepping into your energy here, of course, I'm feeling, though, there might be some travel in your future here. If you aren't exactly going on some sort of a romantic getaway this week, I do feel, as I step into the energy for today with the Ace of Wands, I hear the phrase, "You're killing me, you're killing me." So I don't know if this is in a joking manner, but I do feel as though this comes in with some new ideas, okay? And there is this spark of creativity, and you're really wanting to make something work with someone, okay? And I want you to be mindful that when you get these sparks of creativity, it is something that you're meant to work with, to channel that energy into something that's useful and productive for you. We have to be mindful that sometimes when you get these ideas, it isn't always to your best interest, because I do feel that you have to be mindful of your vice, because I feel that sometimes you have a tendency to want to make things work in terms of you seeing the good in something and always seeing the good in something, and it could be like a complete train wreck, right? And so you want to make it workable, and you want to make, mold it and shape it and fix it and fix things. And so you have to be mindful of, is this project something that I'm able to actually do? Is this like a realistic thing for me? Because taking something or someone from here to here and making that and shaping that and molding that into something that's able to suit your needs is like a whole nother story. So if you're meeting somebody, make sure that you have realistic expectations, because at the end of the day, you don't want to go into something thinking that you're going to change somebody. You have to understand that you have to meet them where they're at and see things for what they actually are. Now, it's different when you're saying that you're looking at your list of, wants and must-haves, and where you can compromise, and if there's things that you can compromise on in terms of things that you can't change, right? But to say that, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to make this person, shape this person into something that's completely different than how they're presenting, I think that's a little bit unrealistic, right? So I think that that's where Spirit is saying, beware of the vice that you have in terms of wanting to always bring things up to your level. And I think that's, a Capricorn thing. You always want to make things be working and operating smoothly, operating on your level, and you always want to bring your friends in on that. And so, not that that's a bad thing, but I think that you want to be mindful that you're being realistic, because you don't want to put undue stress on yourself. Because as we move into the weekend, the 21st, 22nd, we have the 10 of Wands. So that's definitely someone who's overburdened and stressed. And so, I feel like with the 10 of Wands, Spirit is saying there are things that are happening, dynamics that are at play that you're just a little bit unaware of. So you may not know all of the facts in terms of this person that you have met, or in terms of a new situation that's at hand within your relationship, right? Maybe things are changing up, the dynamic is changing up, maybe things have changed in terms of work roles or something, and so it's really changing up the dynamic within your relationship. So I think that that's going to create a little bit more stress. Maybe you're going to have to take on more responsibility within the relationship, right? And so it's going to leave you feeling a little bit overwhelmed right now. So I feel like, too, it's going to make you feel as though you are closed off. Maybe you will close yourself off to your partner, where you're not communicating what it is that you need, or not communicating how you feel. Or you could be closing yourself off to the world, because you're going to try to manage all of this stress on your own, and it's so much. And so the phrase like overworked and underpaid kind of comes through. So not necessarily in terms of like a work situation, but like where you are putting in all of this effort, all of this time, all of this energy into this situation, whether that is actually making this situation, this dynamic, this relationship work, and really not feeling as though it's giving you the emotional investment, the return on the emotional investment. Or it could actually be like a work dynamic that's affecting your roles within your relationship that is making you feel like this isn't worth it, right? And so making sure that you're being honest and open and communicating within your relationship, I think is really going to be very important at this time. And we're going to be looking at like overall, Spirit's using the word sustainability, right? You're going to have to understand that, within this relationship, it still has to be able to meet your needs emotionally, meet your needs physically. Is it meeting your needs spiritually and financially, right? And so looking at all of that and then understanding that like physically still you're putting out all of this effort and energy, and can you keep up at this pace? Because if you can't, then something's got to give, right? Something's got to change. And so maybe giving away some of those wands, right? Some of those responsibilities, delegating some of those tasks if you can, or changing how things are done, or when things are done, something to that effect, right? But I think it's about communicating that with your partner, right? So moving into the 23rd, 24th, we have, the King of Swords. Woo. The King of Swords. So with the King of Swords, I'm really feeling here with you, Capricorn. I feel like there's a question that you have in your mind. If you're actually saying a question, asking a question to yourself, the answer here is don't bet on it, okay? So that's what the Spirit is saying. Whether it is a question of, is this worth my energy? Is this worth my time? Is this something that, is this someone that I should keep around? Or is this person going to be able to meet my needs in the long run? Or is this going to work out in the long run? Something along those lines. So Spirit is saying the answer here, though, I just feel is like a don't bet on it, okay? I feel in terms of this person anticipating your needs or meeting your needs, I feel like it's something that you're going to have to speak up. You're going to have to tell that person, okay? And I feel like the situation is going to kind of like bubble up and keep like coming to like what they say, like come to a head, right? Where it's going to just build and build and build. It's going to keep intensifying as long as you allow it to keep intensifying, okay? So Spirit's saying, like, if you see something, say something. Don't allow things to happen and then you let it go. Okay? If you see something that bothers you, don't just let that slide and then let that next thing slide and the next thing slide, because then at some point you are going to be really upset about one little thing, and it's going to be everything that just bubbles over and you have this huge meltdown about, right? And that's not going to be a healthy situation. So if you see something that's bothering you, or if you hear something, or, you have to have that conversation right then with that person about that. Okay, implement that boundary right then. See something, say something, okay? Because that's the only way that it's going to be workable. It's the only way that things are going to start to work themselves out over time, right? So I think that the advice here is to just be careful how you say that, right? To the other person. I do feel like this other person might have a tendency to have a little bit of a short fuse. And so I feel, it's really important that you not be, the word smothering, don't be like hovering or don't, kind of nag somebody to do something. If you have to ask somebody more than once, they're not hearing you, or A, they really and truly didn't hear you, or B, they don't care, right? And so if it's the latter, then you have to kind of question, like, why am I in this? And so make sure that you're giving it, this person enough space and time to correct their behaviors or correct their actions, or step up to the plate to actually meet your needs in the way that you asked them to, or let them know that you need. And so moving into Wednesday, Thursday, the 25th, 26th, we have the Chariot for you. And so with this, I do feel, again, the word loose cannon comes up. I do feel particularly Wednesday, Thursday, maybe the energy or something with those days, it will, just be a point in time where there could be a potential for things to go awry. And I do feel like at the heart of matters, or the heart of the issues, it could be a self-esteem issue, I feel like, at the end of the day, this person is responsible for their actions. And then also we want to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves and acknowledging that the fact that, if we have things that tend to trigger us because of maybe we are feeling, not worthy, or if we are feeling not as confident as we need to be, then we need to be doing things to address that, right? So that we aren't as triggered by other people. But I think it would be really beneficial maybe to kind of relive those kind of glory days where if you've been in this relationship for a while and there has been points in time, like say maybe early in the relationship where things worked really well and you guys didn't have a lot of times where you triggered each other, or if you had a lot of times where you felt heard and you felt acknowledged and validated and all of those things, maybe you have a particular point in time that you felt really cherished by that person. Try to recreate that within the relationship, recreate that moment, reminisce about that moment, tell that person that point in time, this is what we did and this is how it made me feel and I felt really great, right? Tell that person. And so, and it could even include traveling, right? And so maybe if you recreate that, maybe that's where you're planning a romantic getaway, right? And so that's where I feel that could be beneficial for both parties, okay? Moving into Friday, the 27th, we have Justice with the Queen of Cups. These two came out together, and I'm feeling with this, I'm hearing the phrase, I am not worthy. So I'm feeling like one party will come to another and say, I'm sorry, and apologize, and maybe even disclose some actions, something that has happened, maybe behind closed doors, something you weren't aware of. And so they're saying, I'm not worthy of your love. And so they're feeling guilty. They're harboring some guilt. And so this now leaves things open to, have room for doubts and insecurities and a lot of mistrust. And so you might be questioning, or where your trust lies, right? And so you might be feeling as though okay, so you're sorry, but where is this going to go now? Because if you're sorry, we need to make sure that the actions now follow through with you continuing to be respectful of me now. And then also, has this been a pattern? Did this happen one time? Did this happen multiple times, right? And so I think that it's at the end of the day, do you forgive this person? And then how can you move forward, I guess, right? So the overall advice here is the Sun card with the Nine of Swords. So there's some anxiety, right? There's some things you're having to work through. And then the Empress, which is beautiful, actually, honestly. So what the lyrics of a song that I hear with this is real love. We're talking about a real love, right? And real love doesn't come without its challenges, right? So listen, things happen, and it's important that you stand tall in what you decide, okay? And understand that nobody can cast judgment on that, and keep things to yourself as you work through them. If you need to, talk to somebody close to you. I wouldn't talk to many people, but talk to somebody that you feel close to and feel confident in disclosing stuff if you need to talk about things. But I do feel like you'll be able to come out on the other side, work through these challenges, and actually have it work to your benefit. I know that you might be hurt by some things, but I honestly don't feel like it was something that you didn't expect. So that's what I'm really feeling for Capricorn. So I do so hope that this reading helps you in some way, shape, or form, or resonates for you in some levels. Take what resonates, leave the rest. Not all general readings can resonate for everybody. If you have another Capricorn that's near and dear to your heart and you feel so inclined to share, please share, because I'd love for more people to benefit from these messages. As always, if you haven't yet hit subscribe so you're in the know of all of the new content as it comes out. I'm going to be working on a lot of stuff this weekend. So as always, if you're interested in your own personal reading, I am more than willing to do that. You can purchase your own reading at the description box below. I'll have my website where you can purchase that reading, and then I'll reach out to you, or at enchantedemeraldny@gmail.com. And as always, I hope you have a phenomenal day. Take care.